The second year that we've seen the VFA climax of the season at Windy Hill. Brad Nimmo leads out the Lions. Phil Cleary doesn't run through the banner. And the under-16s for Coburg, who won the Spalding Cup there as a guard of honour. Now the Seagulls, led by Barry Round. His first match in a grand final as captain coach. They have 8 men missing from last year's grand final side. Coburg missing just 5. Williamstown have done plenty of recruiting this season. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Essendon. Living up to its name, Windy Hill this afternoon. A top temperature expected of around 20 degrees, but that wind is quite strong from the northwest, so that's going to be interesting to see which team wins the toss firstly and then adapts to the conditions. Well, a great sense of expectation here. It's been looked forward to right from this day last year, the rematch between these two teams, and Box Hill got in there for a little while, but it did appear right from the start that these two would fight it out, and they've duly done so. Though they go into the seniors grand final, having lost the lead-up games here today. Coburg in the under-19s beaten by just 1 point. Preston victorious. The Bull Ants doing it by 1 point in the under-19s grand final, which was the first game here today. The curtain raiser to the senior grand final, of course, the reserves, and Williamstown, their star-studded lineup, which had been on top all season, couldn't do it when it mattered. Congratulations to the Frankston Dolphins. They are the VFA reserves premiers for 1989, winning by 38 points. Well, it's time now to take a look at the lineups for the big game, and we'll start from the back line with the Coburg Lions. As I said, they are missing 5 men from that team which last year took out the premiership, and they've had their injury worries this week. You'll see Robbie Evans has been named at full-back, and there was doubt about his legs coming through a fitness test. They have done that, and he will play today. The players out of the selected side in the paper, Darby, Williams and Liston. For Evans and Langan comes into the 18. The interchange will be Weatherald and Littler. Well, having done the job all season, the back-to-back flags Phil Cleary spoke about immediately on winning here last year is just 1 win away for the Lions.
Yes, back-to-back's the dream. I hope it can be realised today. Peter, we had a shot at it in 79 and 80 and we weren't able to realise that dream, and today we've got the chance.
Well, back in round 15 when you beat Williamstown, you said that the heavy ground hadn't suited them that day. Will they be a different proposition today?
I think they have to be a handful. There's plenty of skill in the side. I think their mid-season slump was not indicative of how good a side they really are. So we have to be very careful with their forwards.
Yes, Ian Rickman, of course, is that man at the head of their forward line. Adrian Bassett did the job, kept him goalless round 15. Do you think he'll go that way this time?
Bass will pick him up. Yeah, we're pretty confident that Adrian Bassett can do the job. He's a keen competitor, great mark, good skills. It's a big job, though.
Just before the second semi-final, you had plenty of injuries to think about. It's been the same in the lead up to the grand final.
Yes, it hasn't been. It's not our best lineup, I should say, but Robbie Evans is in the side. We've lost Rakavolis, which is a bloke because he's such a tough player. Darby broke down at training, and we left out Dave Williams because of lack of match practice. But I think it's a good side nonetheless. For the first time really this afternoon. It was just the curtain raiser, Williamstown, in the preceding game. The big one now, they break from their huddles after the playing of the national anthem, and all eyes of course will be on Williamstown as Phil Cleary's had his worries this week. Willie have, I guess, shown their hand a little bit in the reserves, so we know very much what their lineup for the big game's going to be. Here it is from the back line for the Williamstown Seagulls, and they have really made no changes to their 18 rather, though Morney and Johnson are the players that were named on interchange that played in the reserves. Smith will start. Nilsson now goes onto the interchange bench with Vinnie DiMartino. As I said, for captain coach Barry Round, the first time that he's had that honour in a grand final. He came to Williamstown from Sydney in '86, the year after the Seagulls had lost the grand final. It's a similar situation in '89.
Yes, we certainly have. You know, no one likes losing a grand final, and we've got the same venue, the same rooms again, so it took us twice at the Junction Oval, might take us twice at Windy Hill.
Well, back in round 8 it was, you beat Coburg and beat them convincingly, shut down their possession game very well. Do you remember how you did it that day?
I'm trying to, yeah, and I've watched the replay a few times. I think, you know, Coburg might have still had a little bit of a premiership hangover. I think that, you know, they were cruising a little bit then, and we might have caught them by surprise, but the next game they turned it around on us.
Well, everyone seems to think your forward setup is the key to the game. Do you see it that way?
Well, I think that end of the ground will be where it's won and lost. I think Coburg's strength is its back line, and when you match the two sides up on that half of the ground, I think it's pretty even. It should be a great contest. Well, are you going to spring any surprises for us? Phil reckons it's not his best side that he's got out there today. Well, I think if they were to get up, they'd be his best side. But yeah, we've got a full list to choose from, and all the boys are keen, and you know, I think we'll have no changes at this stage anyway.
Barry Round looking pretty relaxed. Phil Cleary is a little bit toey in the room. These gentlemen beside me know what it's like to be coaches in big games. Though, Len Thompson, great to have you with us. First season as a VFA coach with the Bull Ants, and Sam Kekovich with Camberwell. Welcome to the big one, gentlemen.
Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, Peter. Grand final nerves. We've got a few butterflies.
Yeah, which way do you think it'll go, Sam? Will that be important? Who settles down the quickest?
I think so. I think there's a wonderful array of experience on both sides, but I just feel it'll be a fantastic game. And when you consider the array of talent on display here this afternoon, I really believe it'll be one of the memorable grand finals in VFA history.
What about you, Len? Sam thinks that Williamstown are a show. Do you give them a chance?
I think they are a chance only if they play a brilliant game, and Coburg are going to be doing the same thing from start to finish. They've done that all year, and I think percentages tell you that the team that plays the more disciplined football consistently are the ones that will ultimately win, and I think that'll be Coburg.
They are a very well-coached team, and if they're told to be disciplined early, they seem to be able to be capable of retaining that instruction even in the pressure cooker atmosphere of a grand final. As the captains come together, Brad Nimmo, number 17 for Coburg, and Barry Round, and tossing the coin, a Williamstown coaching legend, Wally Carter, who coached them for 3 premierships in a row back in the 50s, and it looks like it's Coburg that have won the toss. Peter Cameron, central umpire, shakes hands with Wally Carter. He's wearing the yellow and blue of Williamstown, no doubting about which way his allegiances lied, though he's tossed the coin in Coburg's favour. Will that play a part, Sam?
I think so, Peter. As you mentioned earlier, it is windswept Windy Hill, living up to its name, and I think the side that can get a bit of an advantage with the aid of the breeze, it could be 4 or 5 goals. And if they get away to a good start, it might be very difficult to peg it back.
Well, they're going to the school end. Len, you played a lot of football out here at Windy Hill. A difficult ground to play on, not a big ground, and of course, though there are a lot of players out there that have had a run with Essendon in VFL, or reserves for that matter, they might take a while to adapt to this.
Well, I think it will. I think as we're looking at the windsock there, Peter, the problem with this ground is very rarely gets favoured deliberately one way or the other with the wind. The wind usually bustles down to that city end forward pocket, which makes the distance of the kicking both ways it usually carries, but it's the judgment and the skill that's the hard thing to adapt to.
So who are you going for, Len?
Coburg.
Sam?
I have a slight inkling to Williamstown.
Okay, evenly divided up here. Let's go down to our boundary line commentators for the day, John Bell and Ross Booth. Good afternoon, gents.
Oh, good afternoon, Peter, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, John Bell, a bit of a surprise decision, the way the sides have chosen to kick.
I'll tell you, yeah, one thing straight away, Ross. Willie was talking about it in the rooms. I think they'd be very pleased to be running with the breeze in the first half, first quarter. A great chance to get some goals on the board very early in the game. Very relaxed atmosphere down in the Willie changing room. Just the normal routine leading into the big game. You saw the banner, seeking revenge. They all know they were here last year and are desperate to go out there and defeat Coburg today. Very relaxed indeed, and I think we're going to see a very big performance from Williamstown today, especially for Barry Round.
Thanks, John. Well, the Coburg room, by contrast, not relaxed with Phil Cleary. It never is. We deserve the flag, he said. He thinks Rickman will be cut out of the game by Bassett, and there's going to be a lot of pressure from the Coburg players in these early 10 minutes.
Thank you, Ross and John. Well, that's interesting. As Len said, the wind very tricky, and the umpires in charge this afternoon. 2 men with 6 VFL grand finals between them. Rowan Soares has the ball to start the match, and Peter Cameron doing their first VFA grand final. And the ball is the objective, say the umpires,
And both of these teams are ball-playing football sides. I think we're in for one of the great grand finals. Umpire Soares puts it down, and it's Coburg through Wiedemann winning the first tap. Reynolds taken out of it by Smith. That's Swan, number 13 for Williamstown. Langan, handball smothered. Taranto coming through. He's aptly named the Tank. Here's Kakua, steaming away from McTaggart. Kenny takes him down. Professional free kick. He'd be quite happy, Peter Kenny, to have held up the racehorse, Billy Kakua. So Coburg think they're going with the win. Williamstown think they're going with it. We'll soon find out. As Taranto goes for home. Wasn't a wise option, I don't think, but Reynoldson's got back there. Well, he made the lead and was a good 20 metres ahead of Willis, his opponent. Had to double back. And Greg Reynoldson, who kicked the 2 sealing goals in last year's grand final, a chance to draw first blood for the Lions.
Stay out!
There's 20 metres out directly in front. He's got it. A goal just after a minute. And the pumped up Lions draw first blood.
Yes, Peter, it's the ideal start for Coburg. So they'd be happy with that. I just thought prior to the game I was in a quandary as to who to select, for the simple reason that they've got marked contrasts in terms of their strengths. Williamstown, as we know, have a brilliant forward line complemented by a hard-working defence, as opposed to Coburg, who rely predominantly on their brilliant defence and complemented by a hard-working forward line. That was a great start, and it's good to see Reynoldson, who's been down a little bit, getting first use.
Wiedemann getting it to Gumley. Reynolds, Norm Goss medalist last year in the grand final. Touched off the boot, so McTaggart knew he had to get rid of it quickly. Pastore to Smith, who's slow, hasn't played a lot of senior football this year. Reynolds getting it forward. Not a good bounce for Doyle. Well taken, Danny Del Rey. That'll give him a bit of confidence. Gumley meets it strongly. And McTaggart looks to be in a bit of trouble behind this pack for Williamstown. He's down on hands and knees.
It's not McTaggart.
Physical stuff.
Smith.
It's Smith, is it, after that? Well, McTaggart also, he's shaking his head, Ross, as he goes back. There's a free kick for Brad Nimmo, the Lion captain.
Nimmo into the breeze go the Lions. The captain and centre half back. Ball holding up there. Langan in good position. From the back comes Murphy for the spoil. Reynolds played a brilliant grand final last year. Best on ground over to Ingram. The Bear. Oh, he's in trouble. Reynolds in support. To the point of the square. 1-on-1. Reynoldson at the back. Willis in front position. And Billy Swan. The centre man clears for the Seagulls. Looks out there for Gould. With him, Kakua. He's tackled without it. And Brett Gould does well. You can see the ball really carry the breeze. Over Lindsay Carl's head. Through comes Gary Sheldon. Ran hard of the footy.
Sam, an opportunity there for Ingram if he had a left foot.
Well, he has got strength on both sides of the body, Len, but I think he just took his chance of running around. He felt he might have been able to get around his opponent, but you're right, he should have been on his left foot.
Yeah, there's a free kick. Coburg's way. Advantage played. Up towards Reynoldson with Willis. Murphy in good position with Ingram.
And Len, I guess we've both been here before, and isn't it crucial the initial 10 minutes of a grand final? Players settling down, nerves, adrenaline flowing freely.
Yes, the thing you're looking for is for them to take a few good, clean grabs of the ball, get at the ball, go for their first contest as hard as they can.
Doyle dispossessed by Barry Round, the 39-year-old. Over to Willis, the fullback. Out towards Minot. He's got the fumbles, pressure on. The Tank comes in. Taranto gets one high.
Oh, yes. Handball from a free, Ross.
Well
Nice
spotted,
kick.
Sam.
Free kick and handball up. Bounce in.
So it'll be
Kick on
about
the shoulder, sorry. Handball.
On the defensive 50-metre semicircle for Williamstown. Gumley palmed it down. There's Round. Murphy couldn't get back to take the handball. Gumley made sure of that. So the throw in about 80 metres around from the Coburg goal. Quite warm. Expected top of 20 and a strong breeze. Conditions are going to tell on these teams. Ghazi couldn't take it away. There's Minot. Good long kick. Bassett got the job on Rickman. And breaking away from the dangerous full forward there. Fine mark. Quickly off to Sheldon, who finds Eade. Alan Eade, vice skipper of the Coburg side with not a lot to kick to. Goes in the direction of Ingram. But to go defensive. Here's Smith as he recovered from that early tackle. Angwin will make sure he feels everything today. The desperate Jeff Angwin there, number 22. He's got a little bandage on that left knee. It did blow up a little bit after the second semi-final. He would have been very glad they'd got straight through to the grand final after he looked like missing the rest of the season with that knee injury. He's out there, but we must say how sorry we feel for Peter Darby, the half-forward flanker for Coburg, who's missing his second straight grand final because of a leg injury. He must feel wretched, but I'm sure his teammates could make it up to him here today. Eade, looked like he got a high one there. They look a bit more determined.
Yes, they certainly are, Pete. But just on a word on Peter Darby, it is a tragedy. The lad missing his second consecutive grand final. He's one of the brighter lights on the Coburg side.
What's he saying there, Sam? Go for the ball.
I think the ball's the object.
Wiedemann almost sharked by Carl.
But Ross, as Peter mentioned earlier, and Len endorsed his comments, that both sides are ball-playing sides. There's really no malice in their makeup. They're just got a very, very strong will to make that ball and get that ball. Make it the object.
There's a shot with the pack, Windy Hill. There's a free kick there in the back against Reece Lang, and Brett Gould will take it. Both number 32s. Second kick for Gould. And he looks for Delray. There he is now at the back. Over the top came Smith. And there's a lot of pressure, a few packs early in this match. Another free kick plucked out. Going to Brad Nimmo. Delray on the mark. There's Sheldon at the back of the picture. Looking to get some run. Out to centre wing. Doyle has to fly. Ooh. Possibly a free kick, not paid. Now there's one. Barry Round signalled it, and Brett Gould gets it.
Yes, he was held by Langan, Reece Langan.
Lead from Aziz from the pocket. The pass comes towards him. He tries for the free. Sheldon's on the ground at the back. So's Bassett. Here comes Rickman, puts the tackle on. A good one. Bassett hits the deck. The ball bounces to a half-back flank.
Just what we were talking about Ross earlier, there was an example of it about 5 minutes ago. Williamstown's bogey is going to be that defensive Coburg when Bassett and Sheldon run off. They set up so many forward thrusts, and the Willie forwards have really got to apply great pressure on them.
Wiedemann down to Gumley. Rennett steams through. Only two men inside the 50-metre semicircle. Joined by Ingram. Tap for Reynoldson. Howlett goes down, but he put the body in there, and he'd be happy to see it over the boundary line. Kakua felt that one.
Viewers will remember Reynolds was the man of the match last year.
The sunglasses, Chris Burton. The injured Chris Burton had a cartilage removed during the week. He'll be back next year. But Taggart squares it. Alone in the paddock, Glenn Murphy. From centre half back. Looks up. He's only got Ghazi to fly for. Angwin coming in from the side. Courageous mark. And on they go. Allison to Taranto. There's a great mark from Angwin. Now to Rennett. The pass coming towards Reynoldson. Gets away from Willis.
Just great skills, Ross, isn't it? Really composed.
Sam, one of the important things that I've admired about Coburg this year is that they've got great team vision, aren't they? They're looking to see the constructive thing. You see big Taranto there pointing to get the ball over to Allison.
Now the breeze from left to right across the screen. A Difffield shot at goal. He has the one goal so far, and you can see the breeze blow that across the face. It's quite strong.
No, well, snuck through, Ross.
Well, must have very bad vision, Sam.
Well, I'm doubtful if I've got peripheral vision either, Ross. I thought it went across the face of the goal. What a start by Coburg, and Reynoldson in particular. This will give him a lot of confidence.
Not a problem.
And I just felt previously, Len, Coburg, who have got good vision, and we saw Murphy bring the ball up, he virtually kicked it when he could have ran the ball another 40 or 50 metres.
Swan waiting underneath it. Langan heard the call from Rennett. Ricochet to Gumley. Found a corridor. Again, it's an open Coburg forward line. Left by Doyle for Allison. Murphy down. Reynoldson puts himself in. Murphy Out to Pastore and Swan away. The Seagulls looking for a bit of system. Del Rey coming in with Sheldon, and he's got it through to Angwin. They're teaming well. Flip it over the top is the call. Renitz is the man. Away from Pastore. Running over the top of it, Willis. But he's got some help from Murphy, and it's back on centre wing.
Yeah, Brad Nimmo and Danny Del Rey having an exchange of words. And then a couple of others got into it.
Yes, Jack Aziz is there.
And Robbie Evans.
But Coburg in attack. Round from behind. They're under pressure. Murphy. Great start by Coburg. 2 goals on the board. Thumped away by Renitz. Good play. Swan. Oh, that's pressure. And the penalty kick to be taken by Jeff Angwin.
Looked like, Ross, that Brad Nimmo had his number taken there by the emergency umpire.
You're on the mark there, stay there.
So the Coburg captain and centre half back reported Wiedemann's a bad kick. Murphy, that's not good either. A lot of pressure. Del Rey runs hard at the football. So does Angwin. Good clash. Smith through. Well done, Grant Smith. Wobbly kick. Will it get through those defenders? No. Gary Sheldon clears beautifully out to Wiedemann on centre wing.
Mark Wiedemann loves playing big games in grand finals. Doyle got Renitz or Reed, did it on his own. Again, only 4 men this time inside the semicircle. Allison was backing up Reynoldson. But a very desperate Lindsay Carl there. Pulls himself up, number 15 for Williamstown, who has had that left knee drained this week. Fluid build up there. It'll be interesting to see how he lasts out this game. The rover, it's Sadi Ghazi for Williamstown. And there he goes. Lindsay Carl. Too much pace. Needn't look too bad there. Aziz. Backing beautifully into Evans.
Right there.
Now for the first time, they get it up in the direction of Rickman. Yes! Oh! Peter Cameron doesn't pay the 50-metre penalty. But that's the sort of football that they are looking for, the Seagulls. Move it quickly to the fast-leading Rickman.
I know what you're going to say, Sam.
Got to let the man contest. That's the name of the game, Sam.
Well, I thought there was plenty of contest. I thought there was a little bit too much contest, Len.
Could have been 50.
Well, that's the angle. Distance won't be any worry. The accuracy uncharacteristically right off from Ian Rickman.
Sam, one of the things that is great, and it's been the first time this year that we've got 2 VFL premiership umpires, 6 premierships between them, doing this grand final, which is a great asset to the game, isn't it?
I don't think there'll be anything lacking in that department, Len.
Out to half back. Big Barry, well roved by Andrew Howlett on his wrong foot, his right foot into McTaggart. Awkward bounce, pressured by Gumley. Well done, Steve Gumley, still there. Now Renitz. Chips it towards Langan. Howlett's with him at the boundary line. He's too close.
And Len, the duel between Round and Wiedemann will have a big bearing on this game too, I suspect.
It's going to have a big bearing. I've been surprised at few of just the personal duels they've had, the strength of Wiedemann. He's surprised me with the amount of strength he's got.
Round thumps that one forward. Cameron Doyle out on the defensive flank. Ingram gets unloaded, still not out of play. Howlett rides him into the ground, and Ingram gets the free kick.
Sam, they're undisciplined acts, aren't they?
Well, I was about to say, Len, you're right. Indiscriminate endeavour to tackle that. That was very poor execution.
We've played 14 minutes, 2 straight goals for Coburg. They lead Williamstown, who are yet to trouble the scorer. Away goes Cinnamon Gumley. All the Rovers are with Coburg. This is Brian Allison. First minor score comes up. 13 Coburg, Williamstown yet to score.
Willis has Swan in short from the middle. This one's not going to go out in the full. Ghazi drops it. The Taranto tries to take him out of play. He's still there. Minette in support. Up to Pastore. Oh, he half waited for that. Now Del Rey gets around Nimmo nicely. Looks for Aziz. Good spoil by Evans. As Rickman sends Bassett over the line with a nudge.
Interesting duel, Ross. Bassett and Rickman.
Well, the last time they met, Sam, Rickman didn't kick a goal on Adrian Bassett. But it was Rickman that cut loose in the second quarter last year here at Windy Hill with 2 goals that got Willie right back into things. That's Del Rey battling single-handedly in the ruck. And things have just settled down a little bit after the opening. 15.5 minutes into the first quarter. Williamstown, a real chance here to get on the scoreboard. Wiedemann goes towards Angwin. Pretty hard to knock off the ball, Jeff Angwin, even with a diggy knee. Langan plays basketball.
One thing about Coburg, sorry, Ross, they have got the numbers down in that forward line very quickly to congest it, haven't they?
Maurice Langan is a phys ed student at the Phillip Institute, so he probably does have a bit of basketball experience.
Bassett's kick ricochets to Minot. Rickman away from Langan. Evans. Well, a big injury cloud over him as he gives it to Reynolds, who lost it. McTaggart away from Doyle. And there's Ghazi. Tries to give himself a better look at the goals. He's made it difficult. Nimmo. Good work from Doyle. Had to stand his ground. And there to the centre wing. Well, Williamstown there. Murphy the mark. He's a big basketball fan as well. Glenn Murphy. Michael Jordan fan as he bombs it up to half forward. They didn't judge it. Behind the pack is Carl. You saw Rickman calling for it. And he's duly received it.
Right where you are.
Good distance run with a worry here again, Peter.
Right where you are.
Well, directly in front from 45 metres, Ian Rickman, the competition's leading goal kicker. He's kicked 18 goals so far in the final series and has 122 for the season. It's come back beautifully. Williamstown's first, kicked by the spearhead, and the difference is 7 points in favour of Coburg.
Just a sheer delight, Len, isn't it, to watch him kicking? We've said it a number of times during the course of the year, but he's just a superb kick.
He's deliberate about what he does. That's the thing that I like about him. And he knows that his goal is to kick the goal, where too many fellas just take it as a casual part of their game, and they run in with no real deliberate effort. It's just, you can see the difference when you get people like that. And we've got people, you know, the likes of Brownless and Ablett in the league footy, where they're deliberate with their kicking, the same as Rickman is.
They believe they can kick it.
That's right.
Let's have a free
Well,
run.
Williamstown needed that goal. They were sort of had the ball down there, not getting any results, so that's important for them.
Yeah, 53 possessions to 35 so far, favouring the Lions. Brown gets the Seagulls forward. Out comes Sheldon. Aziz is there. Good strength by Jack Aziz. Down he goes. Play goes on. Rickman with Bassett. Oh, good effort by Ghazi. And brilliantly done, Adrian Bassett. To half back. They're not out of trouble yet, though. Rennett's put under pressure. Good pressure from the Williamstown forwards. Another free kick going to Jeff Angwin, another one.
Trip. They work it clear. Zaid. The roving duels are interesting. Ghazi being held in check, but I noticed Lindsay Carl starting to break clear. He put in a good shepherd too there as Rakavolis. And again, players having trouble judging it. Behind the pack's Murphy, caught by Allison. Tries to lift him over the ropes.
Interesting to position to see Ghazi standing out here, waiting for that ball to be gained in possession to get it out wide to him.
Yes, he's out at about centre-half back. That's he, number 27. Fire over Carl on the bottom of the pack, or was it Swan? It was Swan.
Kick Barry too high, one there. Too high. Your kick's on.
Allison to take the free kick.
Accidental, mate. He was going the ball too high. Yep. All right, doesn't matter.
Well, those papers might just set confusion running in his head as to what he should do in this shot for goal. Each individual piece seems to be going in a different direction. He'll line up from
35 metres.
Please don't go
It's about a
over it.
50-degree angle. Brian Allison. That was very deliberate and perfect.
He really thought about his kicking then into a very tricky breeze. And their third goal. It's been a tremendous start by Coburg, Ross.
There's Len 8 free kicks to 2 in favour of Coburg, and there was one of them.
Yes,
well, I think that's
high.
fair enough, because the first 10 minutes they were certainly the blokes going for the balls, and I think that's, if you go for the ball, you'll get the results. One interesting thing, Sam, there I heard Peter Cameron say, "Don't go over the mark, please." A few people wouldn't believe he'd speak like that, would they?
No, not Peter, but he's very precise and concise, I might add, in his directives.
He's usually a bit more descriptive.
Nimmo, oh, he's... He marked it.
I think he had every right to, too, Peter. Ross, I'm sorry.
Must have been a touch there. Peter Cameron the bounce down. Wiedemann spoils Nimmo. And very difficult to clear from that pack of players. Both sides throwing themselves in. Peter Cameron to do it the third time. Wiedemann number 1. He rucks against Delray. Delray a bit early. Delray got one high. So did Nimmo. A lot of pressure there, isn't it, Sam?
Certainly is, Ross. It's with finals footballs, and in particular grand finals. It's where reputations are made.
13 points the difference in favour of Coburg. We've played 22 minutes.
Get it out!
Nimmo not really making much of an effort there.
More to go.
Gee, there's the fourth ball up in the space of 60 seconds.
Peter, that's an indication, if you look at that, the two last players off the ground were both Coburg players.
Bounces 40 metres out from the Williamstown goal. Wiedemann beautifully down to Nimmo. Hand in there from Carl. Gumley went down. Good skills from Rickman. Just took the shot into the post.
He's just a dangerous play anywhere within 50, isn't he? Either foot. Superbly skilled, Ian Rickman.
5 metres, please. Thank you.
2 goals the difference now. Ian Rickman has scored all the Williamstown points. And there were some players raising arms there to acknowledge the goal as it bent back, but not soon enough.
Now from the kick in, it's gone out of bounds at half-back. Wiedemann battles with Round. Angwin, he's playing very well. Over to Renitz, creative hand pass. Much pressure from Grant Smith. A long one over Ingram's head.
Just noticed a player out there, Sam, that hasn't had much impact on the game is Eade at this stage.
No, at this stage, but they'll certainly be looking for him at some stage of the game to play a more prominent role, because he's one of their leading players.
Allison, and Round goes in. He might have given the free away. A lot of direction of traffic, but Coburg get the free.
I think Barry's saying there was one that came first before that one from the big fellow.
Billy back too, son. Thank you.
Here is Eade.
Go there.
On centre wing, third possession for the vice-captain. Haven't seen much from Ingram as Reynoldson flies, and Willis, his opponent, the fullback, takes the mark. Play going out to the dead side, while Williamstown are in defence. Smith. Sheldon didn't know what was bearing down on him. That was a good mark. Nimmo to the attacking side of the ground. Rennett's eyes on the ball the whole way.
Been pushing it back. Howlett.
Might have been against Langan, I think.
Against Langan, that's right.
Andrew Howlett finds Pastore. Oh, I don't know if you could call it nerves or what it was, but it has led Coburg in. He goes for home. Kept in by Reynoldson. The whistle is very late. Found out by a left a long way behind there.
I think that'll be one of those goal umpire decisions, wouldn't it? Just to give him a little message.
Yes, it's only not even 10 metres from that behind post. There's Murphy. Ghazi spoilt by Sheldon.
They had the numbers, Coburg. 4-1 there. Away goes Kakua. Beautiful pass. Allison pulls it in as we approach time on. 2 goals the difference. This one for Brian Allison. A lot more difficult than his last. Only 2 or 3 metres in from the boundary line. Similar distance. This would be very handy. Won't be a lot of time on played. 7th possession for the Coburg Rover. Can he make it count? Difference now 13 points. We've played 25.5 minutes. First quarter, 89 VFA Grand Final. But the numbers really winning out there for the Lions.
Yeah, Sheldon quickly out to Billy Kakua with that blistering pace. Perfect pass to Allison.
And there's a strong mark.
Kenny.
He's been pretty quiet, Peter Kenny. First possession to him into time on first quarter. Thumped away by Evans. Chance for Ghazi and Aziz. Oh, and Ghazi got a cruel bounce. Aziz left it for him. And again, the Coburg defence does well. Gary Sheldon takes it over. Good quarter by Coburg into the breeze. 13-point lead.
Ross, to use a tennis term, Williamstown are using or making too many unforced errors, aren't they?
Indeed. Up to the pocket. Aziz showing courage, but Evans strong in defence. Playing in the back pocket. Oh, he's got the fumbles. He doesn't realise there's no one there. Plenty of time to steady. Back to Evans. Relishing playing in the grand final. Missed last year's under suspension. Out to centre wing. Over Doyle's head. Through comes Kenny. He's got some pace in his back pocket. Oh, the kick's a bad one. Straight to Wiedemann. Not using the ball well, are they, Len?
No, they're not taking the opportunities. That's Weed's second mark that he's dropped too, which you would expect a player at his level to take. So it's the pressure, as Sam was talking about earlier.
Gives away the free kick.
Big Barry in receipt of his first free.
It's going to be last man standing, Sam, between those two.
I think so, Peter.
The 39-year-old marvel to within 30 metres. Rickman has to go defensive on Bassett. Out it comes to Eade. They're working that loose man now. Wiedemann's handball not as perfect as Coburg usually deliver, but I think the breeze really having an effect on this first quarter. It's not pretty. Coburg held a 13-point lead. Wiedemann stands his ground, but it's roved by Carl. As is, no, it's Pastori who knocks on to Ghazi. And we only played 3 minutes of time on. 13-point leaders at Coburg, quarter time in the 89 VFA Grand Final. All the scoring has been done by 3 men. For Coburg, Greg Reynoldson has kicked 2 goals straight, and Brian Allison 1 goal 2, while for Williamstown, Ian Rickman has kicked 1 goal 1. So that's the story at quarter time. I don't think we've learned a heck of a lot from it. Certainly, still not definite about which end the breeze is favouring in this first quarter. Well, as has been the case right throughout the season, we'll be naming the player of the match at the end of this game. Whoever we select as the player of the game. In fact, it's out of our court today, which is probably just as well. The winner of the Norm Goss medal, whoever he is selected by the VFA state selectors, then they will be the ANA man of the match as well for the day. You put that name along with your name and address on the back of an envelope, get it into the VFA, and you could win the $200 viewers prize, as Mrs. J. Knights did this week from Seaford. Mrs. Knights is the winner this week. So it's the selection along with name and address on the back of an envelope. Get it into the VFA by last mail on Wednesday. Congratulations, Mrs. Knights. You correctly named the dual winners last week, Billy Swan and Jack Aziz. But quarter time in the VFA Grand Final sees Coburg 13 points up.
Next on Four Corners.
After 10 years, the Vietnamese occupation of Cambodia is finally coming to an end.
This is the old Cambodia, the Cambodia beyond foreign occupation and the killing fields. A place of exquisite beauty and gentle dignity, a land suspended in time. But with the dreaded Khmer Rouge again poised in the wings, The agony is far from over for these long-suffering people.
The question remains, who will fill the vacuum left by the battle-hardened Vietnamese army?
Cambodia's foreboding, next on Four Corners.
8:30 Monday, ABC.
It says here that you were a policewoman.
William hires a housekeeper.
I take a very dim view of hanky-panky.
And the surgery's in for a shake-up.
Well, what's the verdict? Will I live?
Robert has no warning of tragedy.
Not Michelle. Not my little girl. You saw her. She was fine. I ducked out for half a minute just to get the... die, Robert, even young ones. What did I miss?
We have to advise you there's going to be a coronial inquiry.
Every doctor's nightmare. GP, 8:30 Tuesday, ABC.
Phil Cleary addressing the Coburg troops. Pressure is the call. Barry Round. So he seems to be saying, use the wind there, Sam. I don't know. It seems to have won that first quarter anyway, even though Coburg on the scoreboard have a 13-point lead.
I just think they settled down a lot better in that opening 20 minutes, Peter. But really, the vigilance displayed by the Coburg defence was quite freakish in that first quarter. I really believe they generated a lot of the forward thrust. Guys like Nimmo, Sheldon, Bassett, they're not prepared to let go of the ball until they're absolutely tackled. And really, it has paid dividends quite handsomely, and they've put enormous amount of pressure on Williamstown, who conversely, when they do get the ball, invariably indiscriminately kick the packs, and they don't have the options that Coburg have provided for themselves. Here we see the first goal and a superb overhead mark by Reynoldsson.
Up forward was where the question was over Coburg, with Williams not playing, hasn't played a lot lately, so he didn't get the nod up forward. Weatherall's on the bench. They haven't got a lot of known goal kickers up there, but Reynoldsson started off well, and up the other end, Bassett doing the job on Rickman.
Yes, you're right. And here we see Reynoldsson once again, chiming in for his second goal. But you're right, but they work so well out of defence that they set up the play for their forwards, who they give them a chance in a one-on-one situation, which is a big plus. Here, Lindsay Carl, who's been working very well, and I feel Coburg have done very well around the packs, as is kept in check by Robert Evans, who's worked hard. Rickman on one of the 2 or 3 occasions that he's eluded Bassett. See Lindsay Carl, the ever alert at ground level, finding Rickman, and this was a superb goal from about 50 metres out in this tricky breeze. And it was a badly needed one, their first for the quarter. And only goal for the quarter, I might add. Rickman again here, we see him hit the post with this left foot snap.
This quarter and Rickman's performance could just go a long way to deciding this game.
Well, we've said all along when we're discussing Williamstown's plight, Rickman is invariably the key because, you know, he's a proven goal kicker, and when they have won games, he invariably kick big bundles. Some of the stats...
Look at the handballs, Sam.
Well, the handballs, as we said, the vigilance by the Coburg defence is just quite freakish, and they really set up a lot of the play. Free kicks slightly in favour of Coburg, but they have been first to the ball and at the base of the packs.
And Mark Wiedemann having the better of Barry Round in the ruck so far. Well, listening to the coaches intently have been John Bell and Ross Booth down on the boundary line.
Yeah, thanks, Peter and John. Look, Coburg, Phil Cleary, very happy with the efforts of Brad Nimmo and Adrian Bassett on Rickman and Delray. And Coburg are feeling very confident, but really, that wind is very tricky, isn't it?
The wind is very fluky. It has concerned Williamstown, but they feel they can go out and kick some goals into it in the second quarter. Very disappointed in the way they've been bottled up on the half-forward line. Just want more players around the ball and a little bit more talk